back. Welcome back. Episode 2. We made it 2 weeks, baby. We're official podcast. We have an official series going.
Yeah, what a
We
streak.
welcome. Here we go. We welcome everyone back. The boys are here. The Fantastic Five. Our wonderful litter has finally arrived. So we want to thank everyone who followed after episode 1. And today we'll kind of recap the birthing process and how everything went. You braved through it. I unfortunately wasn't there with you. And you are a champion again, a person who can do it all. Go from from trainer to running your own business to now an official. Is there an official term for this? What's the term here? A nurse
I'd say preservation breeder, we put the preservation
preservation breeder.
breeder.
So
But
official
you're hyping me up way
preservation.
too much.
Oh no, I can give you all the compliments. You've earned it all. So yeah, I guess we can kind of go to the right before because if anyone watched our last podcast, we were literally kind of in the starting processes. She was panting a little more, starting to do some digging. I think the temperature dropped at the time. So we can kind of up until the first puppy was had, what that looked like.
Yeah, it's so cool that you take in all this stuff. It's actually pretty attractive to hear you say digging, and it's nice knowing you are retaining these things. So yeah, the day before we saw the temperature drop, which indicates that labor should be starting. It's usually 12 to 24 hours later that you start to see puppies. But we had a lot of digging going on. I think like through the whole episode, I kept looking over like, oh my gosh, she's going for it. So saw a lot of digging, saw a lot of panting. However, they did not come the day we recorded. They ended up coming the following day at about, I want to say around 1. So almost like the exact 12-hour mark from when her temperature dropped, we saw our first puppy. So yeah, it was quite the experience. I know in our last post or podcast, we talked about all the preparation and everything we've done. And, we've prepared a lot for this. And there's just through this process, remembering that not everything you can necessarily prepare for.
So yeah, we were preparing. You're excited. We're kind of talking throughout the day. You called me that morning, kind of the expectations of her coming into labor. I know it was a very hard sleep throughout that time,
Oh, yeah.
because you have a very restless dog, and obviously your excitement, anxiety. Um,
And I think it was more her that prevented me from getting sleep because
mhm,
as excited as I was, I did my makeup and everything. I was like, this is going to be the day. I feel so good. Did my makeup.
yes,
And then by the time I was like tired and ready for bed, there was still no puppy. So I went ahead and laid down, but she obviously wanted to be in bed with me. And I'm in the whelping room. If you can't see behind me, I have a
yes.
small narrow twin size bed in here. And she wanted to be up there, and I swear she dug from the time we got in bed until we got up. So yeah, restless is a great word for it.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we had this time of just a waiting and a waiting, and we
Mhm.
did have the unfortunate situation that the first puppy was stillborn, and we've talked a little bit about the kind of the expectation, the excitement that having to deal with that. So not to get into starting the gloom and doom, but we'll kind of start with this since this was the first puppy that was born, talking about that
Yeah.
experience and how you felt and how you dealt with it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. There was so much excitement and anticipation over this litter, and we did do so much to prepare for it. And like I said, just some things you can't prepare for. So as soon as I saw her first contraction, I knew it was time, and I got my gloves on and got ready and got in the box with her. And she was obviously experiencing some discomfort, which comes with giving birth, right? And being on my own at the time, I had nothing but good thoughts and
Yeah.
excitement. And when I saw the first puppy coming out, um, I already felt like something was off, right? I could see the top of the head, which is considered a normal birth. Um, but normally you see like the amniotic sac around it. Um, and it just wasn't that, right? So, not to get into too many details, but something felt off. And when he came, I knew something was off, right? Puppies are very resilient, just in the way, how fast they gestate and how fast they grow once they come out. And so there's the thought that, when you have a puppy come out, you work on them. Not all the time are they actively moving and breathing. So you spend lots of time trying to jolt their system. And it became very evident very quick that this puppy was not going to be one that we could do that with.
Yeah.
Um, it had an extreme cleft palate, which also let us know that there was probably a rupture in the sac internally, and
Yeah.
it probably happened a week to a couple weeks ago, right? Just due to
Yeah.
when the palate closes. And again, I don't want to get deep into the details of it, but um, once I saw that, all of the excitement and preparation that I had left the room.
Yeah.
It became nothing but anxiety and fear, which, is unfortunate because we have another 5 puppies that we need to safely get here. Um,
Yeah.
so I ended up, and again, the only reason I have any thought on the rupture of the sac and when it might have happened is because, one of my close friends does also breed. She breeds standard poodles. And so as soon as I saw first baby come, I knew I was going to need somebody here.
Yeah.
If for nothing else than just moral and emotional support.
Yeah.
Um, and fortunately, somebody that can also step in and help, right? So I gave her a call. She lives in Muncie, which is an hour away. So she ended up hopping in her car and getting here as fast as she could. And, before second puppy came, she was here able to inspect first puppy.
Yeah.
We did a wait just to, take notes on everything we saw. And yeah, so unfortunately, first puppy, which would have been Rose yellow puppy, he did not come out viable, and so he is now buried in our flower bed. And yeah,
Yeah. I mean, again, very, very unfortunate. Your very first breeding to have that experience, but
very
I think,
first breeding, very first puppy. It's not optimal.
yeah, and I think that's a tough part of the learning experience that that births aren't a 100% thing. In any animal, they're not.
Yeah.
Pregnancies are not, a hundred
Well,
percent thing.
and again, you can prepare and prepare and prepare, and nature is going to be nature. And like I said, there's some things you can prepare for, there's some things you can't prepare for, and
Yes.
there's just some things that are going to be a part of it. So obviously my first call when it happened was to my friend Courtney, to go ahead and get somebody here as quick as possible to help with me
Hmm.
and the dogs. And then my next call was to Mary Kay, who is Unice's breeder, to number one, inform her, and number two, as a breed mentor, a breeding mentor, maybe a little bit of insight as to what I'm seeing and experiencing. She was totally reassuring that, again, these things happen, and
Yeah.
some things are just not preventable.
Yeah.
So then my next call was to you, obviously. Actually, I'll go ahead and say one of our Patreon members, whose name is also Mary, I ended up calling her on accident instead of Mary Kay, my mentor, and was like, oh my gosh, I almost broke this awful news to her. She probably
Yeah.
would have been like, okay. So, but, it finally registered. I'm like, oh, I'm talking to Emma's mom. Mary, I'll call you back. I got to get a hold of my breeder real quick. So that was that situation. If you watch
Yeah.
this, Mary. So aside from that, Courtney sprung into action by getting out here.
Good, good.
And yeah,
Yeah, and that goes to show part of the power of community. I think that's great that we have someone who is an hour away who's have the experience here that you can reach out to. The breeder itself, that who is very well versed in terms of knowledge and experience that you can reach out to, and being able to kind of have that people around who want to see you succeed, and who are there when you need you. And
yeah,
fortunately, after that, we have a lot better better moments and stories. So
yeah,
from there, Courtney arrives, and you're right. You regrouped fantastically. You're able to to um, talk
Mary
to
Kay.
Mary, and
Yep.
have your support there. So explain the rest of the night. We have five more healthy boys come on out. It was also an experience, getting to learn
Yeah,
gender by gender
the whole
there. So
thing. Yes. Oh my gosh, the whole thing was an experience. So yeah, it was I mean, number 1, so after Courtney got here, again, I had all the knowledge as to what to do, right? But that, putting that knowledge to work is a different thing. Actually getting to apply these things that you've learned um is a curve. So, when she got here, she was very helpful of, let's take her out to potty a few more times. Let's, let her move around. That's going to help get these puppies in position to come out.
hmm
We need gravity. To assist in these things. So she was super helpful on that front too. So it was between puppy 1 and puppy 2. We were out front letting her potty and sniff, and she's so sweet and such a good friend. You tell she was trying her hardest to get my mind off of what was happening by asking about what food we should order, this, that, and the third, and a third.
hmm
And honestly, I was just so stressed, just
Yeah.
immensely stressed about the first puppy, and it took probably the longest that you want it to happen for second puppy to come.
Yeah.
It's around 2 hours is where you start, let me maybe start making some plans, make some calls. It was like 2 hours and 40 minutes, and we finally saw a second puppy come. I was sitting in the whelping box with her and started seeing the contractions. And Courtney, again, also showed me where to touch to see if the puppy was actually in that birth canal and truly there, or if it was still just making its way through. Um, and as soon as I saw it coming, I was like, Courtney, switching spots. Like after I need you to get this baby out. Like, and so first baby came out normal, which is called, which is what you call a head birth.
Yes.
Second puppy came out breech, and did have the sac and everything on it still, which is what you want to see.
Yes.
And to help Unice not pull it in and push it out, because that can happen with contractions, and it's
hmm
one of the big things Mary Kay said we don't want to do. We don't want her to suck them back up and then push. We want it to be
Yeah.
a constant motion. And I even asked Mary Kay, I'm like, well, how do I make it a constant, like, how do I keep her pushing? And she said, there's no way to actually keep her pushing, right? um, but Courtney did a great job of, when she saw the feet come out,
Yeah.
she went ahead and wrapped her hand around the hips and just held it there. It's not a pulling motion or anything like that. It's just
Hmm.
stabilizing it.
Yeah.
So she can't, on that next contraction, pull up.
Cool. Yeah.
It just keeps gravity working with it. And so puppy number 2 came,
Yes.
which was our first viable puppy, and that was Green Puppy, who is
Okay.
also Merlot.
Yes.
And he is, let me just make sure I got that right. Yes, Green Puppy Merlot. I'm still getting to put colors to names. There's 5 of them, and they all
It's a
came at
lot.
once. And I'm just now like mentally getting back to a stable point. So he was our first viable puppy, and he came out being a boy. And I don't know if I mentioned it. She's belly up setter style right now. I think she's actually asleep. I forgot completely about her puppies. She doesn't want to leave the litter box. So yeah, he came out a nice, big, healthy boy. First puppy was
Good,
also a boy.
good.
I don't know if I mentioned that. And the waterworks started. I was crying. I mean, for so many different reasons, right? I didn't I really did get super upset over the first puppy. But one thing I
Yeah.
know about Eunice and I's relationship, and most people and their dogs, right? It's nothing unique that our dogs pick up on our emotions and our stress. And
Mhm.
as a service dog, she's also a bit heightened to that. So
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I didn't add any unnecessary stress to what's already a stressful situation. So
Mhm.
once second puppy came, I could not hold it in anymore. It was definitely waterworks, and I have like the tail end of a cliff. I'm like, Courtney, you don't know how stressed I was. She was like, no, it showed the whole time. I know how stressed you were. And so yeah, he is a beautiful boy. Um,
Yeah.
and that was puppy number two. Um, and then we had about, I have my notes right here. So puppy number two, he came at 5 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah. And then from there, um, they came out in very different intervals.
Hmm.
It was only about 25 minutes later, we saw Zinfandel come, who
Okay,
is
okay.
our
Little Zen.
orange male, another male. And as soon as I saw a third male, I said, oh, these numbers aren't great already. Knowing that we have so many people that were interested in females, and including
Yeah.
myself, who really wanted a female, already knew at that point we're going to have to break some hearts. So, but he came out quick and healthy, and I don't want to play favorites, but he's a top contender for a keeper pup. Him and Green, I really enjoy. I
Mhm.
enjoy them all, but just based off of first interactions, and which you're really
Yeah.
going off appearance at this stage. I don't even know what colors they're going to be yet. Um, so again, he came out only 25 minutes later,
Okay.
and then from there 2 hours later again, so we have
Wow.
another longer, stint, which
She was
even in this time, she was holding out. I even
yeah,
had
I thought
enough
she was
time to
hanging
go
on
pick
to
us.
him.
She was, and I even had enough time to go pick us up some Chinese food and everything, before he even came, and this was Chardonnay. He's our
Yes.
blue male,
Okay.
and he's also our smallest male. Now, not only did it take him so long to come out, that she didn't even put I mean, I'm not gonna say she didn't push, like, but he was just there. Like, I'm just literally trying to get Orange Puppy attached to her, because,
Yeah.
letting them nurse in between puppies helps release oxytocin, which
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
help stimulate, contractions and keep
Hmm.
the births flowing and going. So I'm trying to get Orange Puppy to latch real quick before I put them away, and I just look at her rear, and there is a puppy. Like, it's just there, and I'm like, "Courtney," and she was like, "Did she push?" I'm like, I didn't see any like she just and he is the smallest, so
The
he
little
just
guy.
kind of slid right on out. And again, that is our Chardonnay,
Yes.
handsome little guy. And then from there, it was again another 2 hours later until our next
Wow.
puppy. And the last puppy was Pino. He's our purple male. He came out at about 9:25 p.m. And he is
Ooh.
our second smallest. So not as small as Blue was, but small. Now, I will say since then, he has caught up to his other brothers where
Mhm.
Chardonnay, our little blue guy, is still a little tiny little piglet. He's gaining
Yeah.
weight, and that's the main thing that matters. He's healthy, but he
Good.
is our small guy. And yeah, so those are our five boys. Again, to run through them, it's
Merlot.
Merlot, Cabernet, Merlot, Cabernet, Zinfandel, Chardonnay, and Pinot. So
Yeah.
again, with that uncorked theme, we have all of our little wines. We did their first photos yesterday.
Mhm.
I think at about 3, 4 days old, just to put a name to the face and show everyone. So yeah, it was quite the experience. I think the only puppy that I truly, I caught a few of them.
Yeah.
Most came out without their sacks. I don't necessarily. I need to continue my research and understanding of this part of the laboring process and
Sure.
what that means, and if there's anything behind that.
Yeah.
Um, the one that did come out in his sack was red, and he was the one that I actually decided that, okay, I'm gonna do this, right. I'm hoping this goes well, and he came out with his sack. I got to cut the umbilical cord. I have a clip of it on my social media.
Mhm.
Courtney's talking me all the way through,
Yeah.
where to grab on the umbilical cord, what to look out for, how to make sure I'm doing this safely and nothing happens to him or mom. And they're so tiny and so slippery, and so I'm trying to
Yeah.
suction him and everything else, and but again, learning and education and getting to
Yeah.
practice and apply. I think that's where competency and being able to do something truly collide, right? Where you can
Yeah.
take what you know and truly put it to work. And so it's nice that I now have that first time under my belt. And one thing that I did not know how it would go would be Unice being a mom, right?
Yeah.
We know she's loving and caring to all of her household, mates, her cats, her dogs, her rats, and everything else. But to see her truly step into a mom role and be so
Yeah.
good at it, the first little bit, she really wanted to pick them up and carry, once we got that situated and got
Sure.
them latching, she's all about mom life.
Yeah. Well, again, one that was a hell of a process, right? It sounds like we had the first puppy starting at what 9:30 that morning, and then last puppy didn't come till 9:30 that evening. Is that 12 hours for six puppies? Correct. Sounds like.
I mean, essentially. So,
Okay, and
yeah.
then signs up to 12 hours before that. So this
Yeah.
is an all all day affair. So I think
Yeah.
again, part of this is the learning experience. So as we kind of talk about this, and as you kind of discussed a little bit ago, um, you've read all the books, you've watched the videos of other people doing this, but as you talked
I've
about,
got to
there's
be a part
nothing.
of litters coming into the world. I've got
Yeah,
to do this with
that's right.
other dogs and other people.
Yeah, you've actually done this, but when it's your
Your dog.
your dog, when it's your dog and you're in the
When
actual,
your baby is
yeah,
in the
it's your
seat.
baby. Yeah, yeah. It changes, and I
Yeah.
think capturing that, and that's why again we do the podcast as much as it is a learning experience for other people, to maybe listen to maybe follow along and say, I want to do this. What were their experiences like? It's us for next time. So even learning that, okay, this could
Yeah.
be a 24-hour process in which the times that they say the 2 hour block, it can be anywhere from 25 minutes to 2 hours and 40 minutes, is
Yeah.
certainly something that we can take into next time and have a little bit more comfortability knowing that what to expect based
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
what we did before. So but yeah, you started
Absolutely.
talking a little bit about her going into motherhood. So we're officially on day 4. They were born the 22nd, correct?
Yes.
22nd. So officially born 22nd. We're going on to day 4. So yeah, what has the experience been like? We have fresh puppies. This is the first time you've worked with fresh puppies, but you've never had very first day one puppy. So what's the experience like for you?
Yeah.
And then yeah, talk a little bit more about like Eunice as a mom. She's always been a very mature dog. She's always been a very
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
an
Serious,
older dog.
calculated.
Yeah, she's very much in that regard. And although she doesn't like necessarily take to like every puppy she sees. I think she's always kind of got a somewhat understanding of smaller animals. Obviously, we see her with the cats. She's very loving and very attentive when
Yeah.
dealing with them. So I guess talk about the experience you've seen as her as a mom, and then talk about kind of your experience as a new breeder with these five new puppies around.
Yeah. Like I said, she's a great mom. She's just in the litter box. I mean, not litter box, the whelping box. Please don't be in the litter box. She's just in the whelping box. And to the point where I have to like beg her to come out and potty, beg her to eat and drink, which
Yeah.
is it's, you know, anxiety inducing on its own, making sure that my lactating nursing dog gets all the nutrients and care she needs because it's very, you know, exhausting and draining for moms to be in this position. So there's a
Hmm.
lot she needs to be healthy and able to produce this milk for these puppies. So she loves them. We're just now at the point where we're just trying to manage and mitigate to ensure that she takes time away and isn't just trying to sit there nursing all day because she will try to just sit there and nurse all day.
Hmm.
Um, and so yeah, as a mom, she's doing great. Like you said, I this is my first litter. And to touch on what you said earlier is, yeah, this is to share education and information with people, but it's also as continual students for us to keep. Can you hear them? I keep looking
Mm-mm.
over here now like I did the other week, but it's not because we have these cute whimpering little babies next to me with mom. So, yeah, it's also for us to be continual students and
Yeah.
further our education and understanding of the things that we do with dogs. So, as a first time now breeder, I would say it is so. Now, let's rewind real quick. It's five boys. Okay. I wanted a girl. So many people wanted a girl. And
Yeah.
the reality is we have boys. So as a first time breeder moving forward with now a boy puppy wasn't like what I wanted. And for a lot of breeders, I think they'd agree that it's not the optimal outcome. Most people
Sure.
want a female to show and move forward with as their foundation. But a boy is what we got. So a boy is what we shall have. So I am super excited to get to watch them grow, right? My puppy is somewhere in this bunch. I don't know who it's going to be. I
Hmm.
don't know what color it is because they're all still white babies besides Merlot. I'm sorry, besides, yeah, I think it was Merlot. No, I'm sorry, Cabernet, who came out with a black patch
Okay.
on his ear. Everybody else is completely white. And
Yep.
that black patch, which we call in our breed blue, could indicate it's a blue male or a tri male. We don't know. And the rest could be black and just not have a solid color patch for us to tell as of now. So
Yes.
that's you know super exciting is knowing that I have a puppy in this litter and getting to watch them grow and be a part of their growth and truly, you know, have a puppy from point A
Yeah.
through its the entirety of who it becomes, I think is super exciting. Um, and yeah, I'm just now that they're here because it was like, oh my gosh, hurry up and have the babies. Come on. Now I'm like, hurry up and grow. I want to see what colors you are. I want to see what you guys do and do all the fun training stuff. So it's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, it seems like as of right now, obviously they're 4 days old. So the main thing is, as you kind of talked about, keeping them alive, keeping Eunice in her routine as she kind of gets adjusted to now having to nurse, and as you kind of talked about, it takes a lot of nutrients out of her. So it's telling her, hey, you got to eat a little bit, you got to keep yourself healthy.
yeah,
So I guess you talk a little bit about like what are some of the daily things that you have been doing with them, as far as keeping
mm,
them healthy and all that. So if you
yeah.
want to talk a little bit about that.
So first 24 hours, it was really making sure I was getting helping mom and them. nurse.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I didn't take control over the whole thing because it's part of their learning and adapting. And again, they're programmed to find teats, right? They need to stay alive. It's very much part of what puppies do. But again, ensuring that everybody is latching, that they are all feeding every couple hours, that they are all gaining weight, and that comes with a morning weigh in, an evening weigh in. Um, and just making sure that they're doing what they need to do as far as what's normal puppy behavior. And then for
Yeah.
her as well, making sure she's eating and drinking and taking time um, and not overexerting herself. So yeah, aside from that, now we're at the point where we've started ENS and ESI, which started yesterday at day 3. And that is, ENS is early neurological stimulation, and the idea
Mhm.
behind this is we can help, activate so much in these puppies, resilience to minimal stress. The thought is we do this now, and it's going to help create more resilient puppies down the road.
Yeah.
And we can do a whole another thing on that. I won't go into my whole spiel on ENS, but essentially, it's 5 different exercises, very simple, different holding positions
Mhm.
and little tactical procedures to ensure that we're just stimulating them at this young age. And we also started our ESI, which is early scent introduction.
Mhm.
So yesterday's scent was basil, was our first scent,
Okay.
and it's really cool to see how they interact with scent for the first time. Took
Right.
notes on how everybody did, what were their responses. We do this up to 30 seconds. I did not do anywhere near 30 seconds with them because we can shape it, we can baby step it,
Yeah.
and little by little, make it longer and longer. So we've started those things. And other than getting them daily weigh ins and making sure mom is healthy, those are the main things we're doing at this early age.
Good, good. Yeah, no, again, it sounds like again you've had this game plan for a while, so seeing the execution of it is great. So before
Yeah.
we end, we can kind of talk about going into this next week as dogs grow exponentially. We're used to human baby time, and it takes a while for them to get from 0 months to 6 months where they start
Yeah.
moving and crawling. But puppies, they're going to be shortly over the next few weeks starting to having some milestones. So let's just kind of play it out to
Yeah.
like the next 1 to 2 weeks till our first socialization event, and we'll talk more about that next podcast. What you kind of expect to see in terms of their development, and then what more do you plan to add as far as either exposure or I wouldn't say training, but other aspects
Yeah.
of getting them ready for the world ahead of them.
Yeah. In these next couple to 3 weeks, it's um, again what we're doing now, a lot of what we're doing now. Some things that will happen in there is we'll see their eyes begin to open. We'll see their ears starting to open.
Mhm.
And they're at that point kind of what they are now, but a little bit more. They can see, they can hear, right? And so we'll start doing basic things, adding, maybe different textures to the flooring of their area. At about 3.5 weeks, we have our first meet and greet for the puppies, which is just for my close friends.
Yes.
So they'll come over, respect all of our, biosecurity to ensure that puppies don't get sick or anything like that, and give them their first times getting to be around new people, and have some safe handling in that kind of way. So we're just really letting them keep growing. Let those eyes open, let those ears open, doing small tactical things with their area that they're in, and that's right now pretty much the gist of that.
Okay.
And again,
Yeah.
ENS will continue through that time too. ENS and
Yeah.
ESI will continue until 16 days old.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, again, that early exposure, I think it's going to be interesting to see again the long-term dividends of the work you're putting in
Yeah.
now, because I think it's often kind of either both misunderstood and sometimes underestimated in terms of like what's happening here, because you don't really think about that in terms of a puppy that first time. You think about a puppy
Mhm.
typically as day one, the moment that you get it, which obviously there's a
Yeah,
lot that goes into that, but a lot that can
absolutely.
happen during this time that absolutely shapes a potential
Yeah.
lifetime of behaviors and expectations.
Yeah, and that'll definitely come. That'll be closer to about 4 weeks that those real big things will start to happen.
Yes.
Again, there's plenty of tactical, smaller things in there that are going to be super helpful. Like I said, different textures, a couple new novel, safe items for that are age appropriate. That will all, kind of snowball into the rest of the things that are going to make these little small things add up to a really big effort to retention and home and
Yes.
building, smart, resilient, adaptable puppies. So yeah, like you said, when they go to their homes, there's obviously so much their families are going to need to do with them to ensure that these puppies keep learning and growing. But at about 4 weeks, and again, we'll probably talk about this in another podcast, but
Yes.
about 4 weeks, there's a lot of true training um, and real socialization that will happen that are going to just make it so much more effective and easy for these puppy buyers to really have a good start once puppies come home.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to meet
Me
them. I meet
too.
them here in a few weeks, so that should be fun. I
Yeah.
meant to tell I
So
meant
that
to
when
tell
you
you.
meet them, it'll be I think that last weekend or second to last weekend of August, you'll come home for your birthday.
Yes.
And we're gonna have your family and my family over at
Yep.
that time to interact with them. Again, they'll be about 4.5 weeks then, and yeah,
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a fun time. I'm gonna tell you, you need to start doing the thing where you like take the pictures like in your arms, and you can start like having like a day by day calendar of like
yes,
watching it grow. So like just do like a one selfie a day, and then by 1 year you can do like 365. Just
yeah.
something to think about. But
Well, I want to do one on one, holding them right.
yeah,
So that way, depending on who I pick, there's just like the day one
yes,
to forever. But being that it is our first litter, I do want to do like all five, and then before they go
yeah.
home, one with all five of them. But yeah, we'll do that.
Awesome, awesome. Well, yeah, follow us on social media for all that stuff. Again,
Yeah,
follow us on the Patreon for more behind the scenes look. Like, share, subscribe on YouTube.
they're blessing.
I think that's a really good episode right there. Next week, again, we'll talk a little bit more about the week 2, week 3, how they start growing. Hopefully, we'll have some eyes open and start learning a little bit more about them. They'll start showing their personalities and their little and their little quirks
Yeah,
and all that. So we can definitely go over that next time we talk.
absolutely. And you're right. Getting to see them like now at this like just meat bodies moving there's just little things I'm like, I wonder what personality that's going to turn into or what
Hmm.
that behavior
Hmm.
may, be indicating for the future. But yeah, we appreciate you all so much for tuning into this. And, I've enjoyed this immensely. This is such a big milestone in my life. And thank you guys so much for allowing me to take this time off. I had almost a full week off work, which was super cool. I mean, I'm never truly completely off. There's still plenty of work to do and dogs that are here that I'm taking care of. But in terms of the normal things that I would do day to day, it's been nice getting to dedicate this time to welcoming these boys into the world and ensuring that Eunice settles into momhood well. And so thank you guys so much for that and everything you've done to ensure that she has supplies for the puppies. Again, we planned this for so long. We have everything we need, but all the
Yes.
extra things that you guys have provided have just, been the cherry on top. So, yeah, thank you guys for that as well. And like Kyle said, if you're following us on Patreon, thank you so much. If you're seeing us somewhere else, follow us on Patreon. We also have YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and like Kyle said, hopefully our next one is updating you with some neat new milestones.
Can't wait.
Awesome.